It is December now, and you know what that means. It's award season in full bloom. That means the prelude to award shows like the Golden Globes and the SAG Awards and the Oscars finally are coming in the form of year-end Critics Awards. And they've announced a few of them in the past week or so. So let's review those now. Which one do you want to start with? Which one you have up?
Well, let's start with the first one, which is National Board of Review.
Okay, let's do that.
And since I have them up here, I'll just
okay, cool, good, thank you.
Go through. I'm just going to do adapted screenplay and then up to the top. We could maybe talk about some of the others, but I'll do documentary too. But we'll start with documentary.
It'll be obvious once you bring up the category. We'll know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
documentary is made in America. OJ Made in America.
Great.
Suitable choice. Although I still question whether it's really a movie or if it's a TV show. But foreign language film is The Salesman, the Iranian film by Asghar Farhadi. Animated feature went to Kubo and the Two Strings.
That's a good choice. I can't argue with that.
Yeah. Adapted screenplay went to Jay Cox and Martin Scorsese for Silence, which really does seem like it hasn't been a great year for adapted screenplays, but it really does seem like that might be a front runner in a way to at the Oscars in a way to give Scorsese another award, and to an award to former film critic Jay Cox. Original screenplay went to Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea, which I saw yesterday.
Okay.
Supporting actress went to Naomi Harris for her portrayal of the child's mother and crack-addicted mother in Moonlight. Supporting actor went to Jeff Bridges as the sheriff in Hell or High Water, or whatever he is. I can't remember. He's not a sheriff, but... Best Actress went to Amy Adams for Arrival, which I don't understand. Best Actor, though, went to Casey Affleck, totally justified for Manchester by the Sea. And Best Director went to Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. And I think Moonlight, did they give a cinematography award? No, I guess they didn't. That's strange. And Best Film went to Manchester by the Sea.
I don't have a problem with most of that. I think Manchester by the Sea certainly is worthy of all its accolades. I really do think that. And it certainly I have no problem. So the last two movies I've seen are Moonlight and Manchester by the Sea. But these, I guess, are the front runners. I think we can safely say these are the front.
Well, La La Land did not.
Oh yeah, La La Land too.
Did not land anywhere in their choices, so they were not very high on that movie, obviously. Manchester by the Sea. Well, let's talk about all these before we get to. Let's talk about the two movies before we, after we talk about the awards.
Okay, sure thing.
Interestingly, too, I wanted to point out that they get best ensemble to Hidden Figures, and best directorial debut went to Trey Edward Schultz for Krisha, which is now on Amazon Prime. And if you haven't seen Krisha, because it's been difficult to see for most people, I think you should see it. It is a great directorial debut. I saw it, in 2015 at the Atlanta Film Festival. But it is a great movie, very, very unusual film, and I think people will really respond to it. Okay, so now we go to the New York Film Critics.
But it's worth noting too that the National Board of Review. I mean, it's pretty early, and like we always say, the temperature can change in terms of the opinion and the buzz on a particular movie. So I mean, they should be looked upon as like an early indicator, but not like the be all end all. This is what we're looking at.
Right.
Season. Even though, I mean, definitely Manchester by the Sea will be a major player, but I don't even think most of them saw Silence.
I don't think it screened for that many people. Has it?
It did screen for them. It did screen for them.
Oh, because there's an article that said most of them hadn't seen it because it wasn't done.
That might be true, but it did screen.
Okay. Well, I know it's screened now.
I mean,
and then the reviews are coming out for it now.
Well, I want to see. That's what I'm kind of holding out for Silence because, so I'm watching Allied last Wednesday in New York, and they show the trailer for Silence. The guy in back of me just yells, "Sorry, Marty, this looks just as bad as Kundun. I love you, but this movie looks horrible."
That's such a cliche. Just because it's a movie that's not a gangster movie.
Yeah,
I hate that.
Can I say something? I thought Silence, because of all the Japanese actors in it that I love. I love all these actors that are in this movie. I like all the main guys that we know, but all the Japanese actors that have seen all these Japanese movies through the decades, awesome. Can I see this right now? Could we get Silence? Could we get Allied out of the projection booth and put Silence in here instead? I mean,
well, I'd definitely rather watch Silence than Allied, but I hate lumping those two movies in together.
Yeah, I do too, because they're two totally different movies. If you know what Silence is about, Silence is, I think, has this like. The only other movie I can think to compare it to is The Mission, and it looks so much better. And I'm not a huge fan of The Mission, but this is just such a fascinating topic about the opening up of Japan after centuries of not opening up to anybody. I mean, the subject matter alone is, I can't believe it hasn't been made into such a big movie yet, and it looks just fascinating.
And it's a lot more violent than The Mission too. But the early reviews of it, I mean, they're kind of split between a lot of people saying that it's an absolute masterpiece and some people saying that it's frustrating for one reason or another. Like it just falls short of being a great movie. But, other people think it's a masterpiece. But anybody that complains about Martin Scorsese doing this kind of material doesn't know Martin Scorsese.
Doesn't know him at all.
You don't get the whole spiritual through line throughout his career. You don't know the first thing about him and his upbringing.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
but it's interesting to me how the Catholic Church condemned him for Last Temptation, and then he met with the Pope last week for Silence. Yeah, that's an interesting full circle.
Yeah,
no, it is. It is. I think this is the film really to watch. I think we're going to be, as more people see it and everything. Let's be honest. This is one of the greatest living film directors that we have, and it's always an event whatever movie he has, regardless, the subject matter. And the subject matter here does encompass all the things that he's been interested in his whole career.
And plus, he's an old generation director in his 70s, and he's making movies that still feel energetic and vital, whether you like him or not. He's still vital as an artist, and
very much so.
I'm curious to know, since this is his last kind of passion project that he's been harboring for 30 years or so, like, will he be deflated after this because it's done, it's over, he did it? I'm wondering if that feeling will overcome.
There has to be. I mean, I remember when I was doing just a little comparison here. When I was doing the film festival, which it took a year to put together, and I mean, like every moment of every day was devoted to it. And then when it was all over, I felt a very crushing, depression about it, like a postpartum kind of depression. And I wonder if that happens with filmmakers, and certainly with Scorsese. I wonder if they feel that for a little bit, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just go, well, maybe
they're just relieved. I finally crossed that off the bucket list.
I have a
feeling. The next thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they might feel like, yes, now it's done, and it's relief is the main main thing. And now I
but
can
there's
move
also,
on to something new. Yeah.
The next movie he does, hopefully, probably will be the gangster movie with De Niro, which I'm sure he'll be thrilled to re-team with De Niro and work with Pacino for the first time. But and it might be a brilliant script, and I want to see it more than anything ever in the history of entertainment. But I wonder if there might be a little bit of, when Spielberg did Schindler's List, and then he went to the set of The Lost World, he had to have felt kind of like, shit, I just made Schindler's List. I'm going back to making a dinosaur movie.
True.
It has to be a major shift in emotion, that's for sure. Well, going on to the New York Film Festival, which was the New York Film Critics, the winners there again for Best Documentary, O.J. Made in America. This time they went with for what now?
I just said wow.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Best Foreign Language Film went with the very controversial Tony Erdmann, which is really obviously a divisive movie that some people either love or despise. I think a lot of people find it very funny, but I've heard that it's way too long.
Well, didn't the British, the BFI or something, didn't they come out and say that was the best movie of 2016?
I think one of those, or Sight and Sound maybe, I think, did that.
Okay.
I have the Sight and Sound list too, so we'll look at that. Best first film was a tie between Edge of 17, the Haley Steinfeld sort of comedy, which I still haven't seen.
Oh, that deserves it. Yeah, I mean.
And again, Trey Edward Schultz's. It was a tie. Trey Edward Schultz's Krisha came in, so he's already won 2. Best animated film went to Zootopia, which is probably going to win the Oscar. Screenplay went to Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea. Cinematography, this is an early indication that this is going to be a major player in the cinematography category. Went to James Laxton for Moonlight, which is strange to me. I mean, it's not a beautiful looking movie. It's got some nice shots in it, but I didn't think it was.
The ocean, the beach shots are interesting. I mean, those are the ones that I don't know if anything else in the movie is quite like that.
There's a few very color saturated shots in it that are not on the beach, but other than that, that's the only thing I can.
If we're just using that kind, I would have to give it to cinematography to American Honey before I'd give it to Moonlight. I think that's a much more beautiful film. Even Manchester by the Sea, I think, has some stunning.
Frankly, I would give best cinematography so far this year. I would give it, just from what I've seen this year, I would give it to Rules Don't Apply.
No, yeah, Rules Don't Apply could be nominated, but there's also, I mean, once Silence is widely seen, I think Silence will become one of the front runners as well, because that's Rodrigo Prieto, and it's Scorsese, who's always visual, so that could be a major player as well.
And also, I even though I didn't really like the movie, I thought Vittorio Storaro's cinematography in Cafe Society was superb. So,
yeah,
I would have to go with you on Rules Don't Apply, though. I think that is the film's greatest. That's the film's greatest strength is the cinematography, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah.
Best Supporting Actress went to Michelle Williams for 2 films, Manchester by the Sea and Certain Women.
I have no beef with that. No beef. No problem with that.
I have a little bit, but we'll talk about it. Best Supporting Actor went to Mahershala Ali for, I guess it's Mahershala Ali for Moonlight.
For Moonlight?
Yes. He's he's the guy who teaches the kid to swim, who disappears after the first third.
That's true, yes, he does.
Best Actor went to Casey Affleck, Manchester by the Sea. I mean, I think he's unstoppable unless that controversy hits him, which I guess we'll talk about too. Best Actress happily went to Isabelle Huppert for Elle and Things to Come. So she has two movies. Things to Come is the Mia Hansen love film. She's terrific, and so is, of course, Huppert. Best Director went to Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. And after all of that, they chose Best Movie, Best Film goes to La La Land, which won nothing else.
Oh.
And it's not the first time that they've done that. So
no, but we're looking at it,
spreading the wealth kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, could it be? Now, I think Manchester by the Sea is a rather cathartic film, but could it be that they might just want? Are we moving to a thing where La La Land could win nothing else but Best Picture? Because given this, it seems.
Plus, consider this. In times of great turmoil, a lot of people turn to movies to represent something a lot happier and livelier and life-affirming, which could really work in La La Land's favor.
Yes.
And against something, kind of more white and somber like Manchester.
I was more thinking Moonlight, actually. But no, Manchester too.
But La La Land is fantasy. I mean, just think of, there's a reason why disco followed Vietnam.
Yes. No, of course. No, you're right. I mean, La La Land, to me, I mean, from everything I've heard, just has all this going for it, which just everything that you just said. So,
well, I don't think that La La Land is like, I don't want to say that the artist was not substantial, but I don't think that it's as sort of light as maybe something like the artist was. I of course, we haven't seen the movie yet, but I think that it's a little heavier than we're thinking it might be.
Oh, cool.
But I think it still speaks to the movie magic of a bygone era, kind of the enchantment of, movies. And that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, they gave special awards to two major female figures in film. One to editor Thelma Shoemaker, and one to Julie Dash for her daughter's her 25th anniversary restoration of Daughters of the Dust. So, I agree with things
that was a special award.
Those were their special. So now we go with the Los Angeles Film Critics.
Let's go with the Los Angeles. All right, so we're starting with. All right, let's go with. Well, screenplay is very interesting. We have The Lobster, and then the runner-up is Manchester by the Sea.
Oh.
No, the Lobster deserves something.
I think that's ridiculous.
Well, I would give Manchester by the Sea, but I do think The Lobster does deserve something this year. What it is, I don't know, but it does deserve. It's probably the first movie I saw this year one of the first movies that I actually liked. And that's in May. So just think about that, guys.
Yeah. I mean, they've always been a little contrarian, the LA Film Critics. I mean, these are the guys that, championed Brazil a long time ago. So
yeah, okay, so all right, I'm just going on with the categories that you mentioned. Or do you want me to do all of them, or should we just
do all of them?
Just go ahead and read them.
So I was just going to start at the bottom here then on the list. Lifetime Achievement, Shirley MacLaine.
Huh. Okay.
Is there something I'm missing here?
Well, she did do a movie this year. She did a movie with Jessica Lange that like 5 people saw called Wild Oats.
I've heard of that. Isn't that scary? Okay. Cinematography, James Laxton for Moonlight. The runner-up is Linus Sangren for La La Land. Music score is La La Land. The runner-up is Jackie. interesting.
Which I have
Great
something
score.
to say about that. That Jackie score sounds incredible. It's by Michael Levy.
Oh God, yeah, it's just.
Michael
God.
Levy is Michael Levy is female, and she's just doing great work already with only 2 scores under her belt. So
right. No, absolutely. Supporting actor, Mahershala Ali for Moonlight. The runner-up is Issy Agata for Silent. So I take that we might be seeing some of these Japanese actors.
I think so. I think you're right.
I hope so. I've heard only good things. Production design, I have no beef with this one, The Handmaiden, and the runner-up is La La Land. Editing, O.J. Made in America, and then the runner-up is La La Land.
Isn't that interesting? They gave best editing to the documentary.
To the 8-hour movie.
How many episodes? How many hours is that movie? How many?
Well, it's about 8.
Supporting actress.
It was 5. It was in 5 parts when it aired.
Okay.
And so I think complete, it's like just under 8 hours or something.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Supporting actress. Now this I like. Lily Gladstone for Certain Women, and the runner-up Michelle Williams for Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah, I have to. I mean, I do love Lily Gladstone in that movie. She's the emotional heart of the film.
Right.
However, it is a very low-key performance.
The whole movie is low-key. Dean, let's not beat around the bush. It's a low-key movie.
I mean, half the time all you're doing is seeing her, tending to horses.
And that's true. I mean, the horses might deserve some special notice too in that.
The other thing that this brings up. I mean, a lot of these choices for nominees, these early Critics Awards have a great ability to spotlight movies that might easily be forgotten by Oscar or Globe
right.
time.
No. So it's important that Certain Women is actually mentioned. I honestly do believe that. So I do appreciate it. For that. For documentary nonfiction, I do not know this is the movie that is their main choice. I Am Not Your Negro, but the runner-up is O.J. Made in America.
Oh, is that the James Baldwin? That's the James Baldwin.
It might be. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Which I've heard is rather, just sort of your typical kind of like, I don't know, like an American Masters type thing. So
right.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. The Douglas Edwards Independent Experimental Film Video Prize is the Illinois Parables from writer-director Deborah Stratman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that at all. So that's alien to me. Screenplay, as we said, was The Lobster, and then the runner-up was Manchester by the Sea. Foreign language film is The Handmaiden, and the runner-up is Tony Erdmann. So I think we're going to see both of those films in the Oscar category. I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah.
An animated film, Your Name, the runner-up, The Red Turtle.
Your Name is the Japanese film, and the Red Turtle does look really good. I have to say.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Oh my God,
it looks so unusual. I mean, it has no dialogue in it. That's one thing that's also very interesting about it. So it's all done with images.
Actor is where we really, really just get into.
Wow.
Adam Driver for Patterson. I mean, that I haven't heard that thrown out at all anywhere.
Mm-mm.
This film has sort of dropped off the radar this season.
I wasn't even sure that
really
it was going to be. Is it actually in release? I mean, it must be. I guess.
I thought it was going to come out in November, but I haven't seen it at all. I mean,
it comes out in select theaters on December 28th.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, I got to wait that long to see that bastard in the movie? Okay.
I have a screening of it on Thursday.
Oh.
You lucky SOB. Runner-up is Casey Affleck. Actress is I think, one of the greatest living actresses right now, Isabelle Huppert for Elle and Things to Come. I have not seen Things to Come yet. That hasn't even opened here, but I can't wait to see it. But the runner-up is, I find fascinating. And this movie only played here for a week. Rebecca Hall, Christine.
Good. I think
that's a bold choice because I definitely want to see that. Director Barry Jenkins for Moonlight, the runner-up Damien Chazelle for La La Land, and Best Picture Moonlight, runner-up La La Land.
You know what movie isn't in the conversation yet that could be before the year is over is The Founder.
It could be. It could. You're absolutely right.
Because they say
I have a
it's
feeling
like
that. Yeah. Go ahead.
In terms of Michael Keaton's lead performance, they say it's a little villainous. You know?
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna touch on was the fact that he's really playing a very charismatic villain in it, in that he basically steals the whole idea of McDonald's away from the McDonald brothers. So that might be, I don't know, there might be politically, just I'm talking about in the big world of politics, that might not be the kind of performance that Hollywood wants to reward this year. Doesn't mean it's not going to be a great performance, but I'm very excited to see that movie. It sounds very good, even though I don't really have much faith in the director.
No. But I have to say the trailer.
But if it's an interesting Keaton performance, I mean that's enough to get me there.
Yeah.
Honestly, Keaton was. I think Keaton won one of these major critics awards for Clean and Sober years ago. I mean, to give you a sense of that winning one of these critics awards doesn't necessarily equate even a nomination for Oscars. I mean, there you go, right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I also am interested in The Founder because I really like the screenwriter, Robert Siegel, who did two great sports movies, The Wrestler and the lesser seen Big Fan with Patton Oswalt.
That's a great movie. That's a bleak movie. There you go.
It is.
A bleak one. Oh my God.
What a performance
for you, Dean. To watch
both of those would have been my choice. Mickey Rourke and Patton Oswalt would have been my choices for the best actor of those.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Particular years. So that bodes well for this movie
plus,
too.
I mean, I don't know if this factors in anymore or not, as relevantly as it used to. But the Weinstein Company is behind the founder, and I don't know what else they have this season.
Yeah.
No, I don't either. I mean, that's a good question. I mean,
it feels like we're in it feels like we're at least sort of transitioning into a post-Weinstein world in some ways. It doesn't seem like they're necessarily the players that they once were in the 90s.
No, I agree with you there. And that's a mix. I have a mixed feelings about that. It's good and bad. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, let me just say, in all three of these, Barry Jenkins wins the award for Moonlight. And again, I mean, that's a very it's a good movie, but I don't really understand why that's there. I mean, I just don't. I'm not quite getting that movie.
I'm getting it.
Overwhelming love with it.
I'm getting it. Could it be? It might not have to do with the movie per se, but people are trying to make a statement.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. Can't we just instead of making a statement, just say make your statement be what is the best director of the year?
Yeah. I
mean, I really don't. Yeah. I mean, I
agree
don't get
with you
it.
100%, but that's unfortunately what happens this time. And given what's happened, unfortunately, people are, and one of how should I say it? Just something that really reeks, because we're using the movie ballot box to make a statement, and while that's all fine and dandy, let's do it in a better way. But let's award like the best motion picture, not the best movie that says your political leanings or whatever. But let's actually pick the best movie, because when this happens, when you start doing this, I think Moonlight is a good movie. Do I think it's a great movie? I don't know. Can I be honest with you?
You don't know. You either do or, I mean, is it great? It's not great. It's not a great movie.
No, I don't think it is either. I think it's
not.
I think it's good. I think it's a good movie.
I've seen tons of indie movies dealing with oppressed people that are better than that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That did not win Best Director, of their year.
Didn't even get anywhere near this. Nowhere even near where this film has gotten. So so there's that. I do think this year we're going to see that more than we've seen before, where the movie is going to be used as a vessel to make a bolder statement than the movie even probably intentionally had to begin with, from the writer-director. I really do think that's going to happen this year. And you know what that does? Come Academy Awards night, low ratings.
Nobody's watching.
Yeah, no one gives a shit. I hate to rain on every snowflake's parade, but no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. I'm sorry.
If they haven't seen the movie or heard of it, then that's generally true.
Yeah.
I mean, probably this year.
Yeah, but that's a big quandary, because you can't nominate movies based on what ratings the telecast will get.
I agree.
Oh God, no, of course not. But
I mean, it's just stating a fact. That's all. It's just stating a fact. I don't want it to change, really. I mean, just go ahead. I mean, nominate. Hell, I'd like it if they would nominate movies that almost nobody has seen. I want a nomination for Love and Friendship. I think that deserves one.
And that's not even part of the conversation, Sam.
Nobody's even talking about it.
You know what else isn't a part of the conversation is Birth of a Nation.
Well, that we knew. From the moment that thing broke, we knew that was not going to be. And that
although the National Board of Review did. Hold on a second. The National Board of Review did. The National Board of Review did pick Birth of a Nation as one of their top 10 movies.
Yeah, but you guys are talking about why is Moonlight getting all this attention, and I think I just mentioned it.
Okay. I mean,
you know what else isn't on any of these lists? Fences isn't on any of these lists.
I think Fences is going to be something that, I think people are holding its stage bound kind of quality, which I assume is largely there against it.
Yeah, but in terms of performances, I mean, these aren't necessarily they don't name nominees; they name winners, right? On these that we've just talked about. And by the way, didn't the National Board of Review also say that Sully was one of the best movies of the year?
Yes.
Wasn't that on their top? Yeah.
And there's not.
So I just missed that whole group.
Sully and let's bring in something else. Hacksaw Ridge. We could see a nomination for Mel Gibson as a director. I would be all for that. I think it's well earned. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm surprised that movie didn't do better at the box office, so I am surprised by that, but that's just me.
I'm surprised that the American Sniper crowd didn't go out to see that.
I'm surprised they didn't go see Sully, for that matter.
Well, I mean, Sully did make $200 million in the box office, which will, if it does get a Best Picture nomination, will probably make it the biggest hit of all of the movies. And still, to this point, also not mentioned is Tom Hanks. And I think that it's quite possible that the movie might be nominated, but again, Tom Hanks won't be nominated. So,
and that's a shame, because he's actually this and the other one, Hologram for a King, I actually thought he had a good year. He had a good run, and if you count Bridges 5s, too, I mean, he's had a decent run lately.
But he did have Inferno, so we have that to hold against
you know, Inferno is a big, Dean, let's just put it like this. Inferno is a big reason not to get invited to the party. I'm sorry. It's the Norbert of movies, I mean.
Yeah, I agree. As far as oh, this is interesting. Well, anyway, I see that they've done the Atlanta Film Critics Society, which that they've already somehow I didn't get to vote on this, so I didn't know that they were voting. So, but they gave everything to La La Land.